Welcome to Two Doctors Homestead. My name is Janet, and today we're going to talk about chickens. Specifically, we're going to talk about the 5 things I think you should know before you decide to raise chickens. The first thing that I want to discuss is coop size. Now, when you go to the store and you buy a coop to fit your chickens, it's going to identify if it fits, 3 chickens or 4 chickens or 6 to 8 chickens, and that's really going to be based on what the industry considers a standard chicken size. And a standard chicken size for building coops is usually 5 pounds. Now, the chickens that are very popular nowadays, like your Australorps and your Wyandottes and your Orpingtons, those hens all weigh in above 5 pounds. And when you have a bird that weighs in above 5 pounds, you're going to have more length and width and depth of the body, so they're going to actually have a bigger mass and they're going to take up more room. When they take up more room, that means less square footage for other birds and less square footage for them. So if you are going to purchase a coop, I would recommend erring on the lower side of the number that they say fits. If they say that it fits 4 to 6 birds comfortably, I would err more on the 4 birds comfortably. You also want to give them a good area outside to stretch their legs, walk around and peck and scratch and do all the things that chickens do. If you have too many chickens in an area, you are going to see negative behaviors out of your chickens. You're going to get pecking behaviors. You're going to get more cannibalistic behaviors. When your chickens are on top of each other, they're going to be, more agitated, and they're not going to be as happy, and they're not going to be able to live their best life. So if you can take that into account, make sure when you go to get a coop or you go to build a coop, you try to err on more space for your chickens than less. Plus, chicken math is real, and if you say you're going to start off with 10, you're probably going to end up with 20 or 30 within the next year. The next thing is that your chickens are going to stop laying at some point during the year. All chickens go through molt. Their first molt usually around 18 months. That's when they drop their feathers and they put their new feathers on for the winter, because it's like putting on a brand new coat to protect them through the cold months. That usually happens when the days get shorter, but also when it starts getting cooler out, because they're trying to get new fresh feathers to get them through the worst of the season. So during this time, your chicken is going to need the most protein possible, and they're going to use that protein to build their feathers, because feathers are built of protein. They are not going to use that protein to give you eggs anymore, because they need to protect themselves for their survival, and that's going to go into producing feathers. Now, if you do want to know how to get chicken eggs all year round, I do have a video that I will link at the end of this video, and that is about building your flock appropriately based on what type of chickens they are and in what seasons they actually produce their eggs more readily. So that's the way I run my flock. I have a very well-rounded flock, and I have eggs all year round. Now, when you go to a farm store, you're going to see 2 things on the name of when you go to pick up a chicken. It's going to say pullet or it's going to say straight run. We'll start with straight run. Straight run means that chicken was hatched, it was born, the hatchery picked up all those chickens out of that hatch, they put them in a box or whatever they're going to do, and they sent them to a farm store. They did not check to see if they were a boy or a girl, they just sent them out, they labeled them straight run. So essentially, according to what the real rule of straight run is supposed to be, it is, we didn't check to see if it's a boy or a girl, we just sent them there. Now, I know some people have ideas that that's where they throw all the roosters in a straight run, and it quite possibly might be. But what the actual industry rule is supposed to be is they decided to not do any vent sexing on them. Now, a pullet, on the other hand, is going to eventually grow up to be your hen, which is going to lay your eggs for you. Now, a pullet is, this girl is, they picked her up, she was born, she was hatched, they picked her up, and they checked to see if it was a boy or a girl. Now, chickens, reproductive organs are internal. So they can't just pick it up like they would a pig and be like, ooh, that's a boy, that's a girl. They actually have to squeeze their little bum and open their vent up and check to see if it's going to be a rooster or if it's going to be a hen. Now they can only guarantee 90% accuracy on that. So if you order or if you pick up 10 pullets at a farm store, you might get a rooster out of it. You know, that is very possible. So you need to be ready for, if you can't have roosters, what do you plan on doing with that rooster? Also, you need to know that free ranging seems like it's beautiful and exotic, and you know, all these beautiful chickens are out on the countryside, on the hills, are alive with the sound of chicken scratching, but it is very dangerous to free range in some areas. Some areas it's perfectly fine, but in some areas there are a lot of aerial dangers as well as dangers on the ground. In my area, I know we have a lot of hawks, and the hawks are protected. We also have a lot of different variations of owls here as well. So for me, free ranging is not an option because I am not willing to put my flock at risk for them to be out meandering around our acreage. Now, a rooster, his job is to take care of his birds, his girls, but you cannot put all of that onto a rooster and say he'll protect all the girls, because he can't protect all the girls all the time. So if you do decide to free range, know what your predators are in the area. Allow your chickens to have a lot of areas to duck and cover. That is very important. They need to be able to get away from the danger if it's aerial or if it's from the ground. And just know that there is a probability that you might lose a member of your flock to a predator. And if you're okay with that, then that is great. But that is the dangers of free ranging. And the last thing to know is that eggs absolutely will cost you more if you raise your own chickens, because eggs are not, we raise chickens because we love the breeds. We love to have the farm fresh eggs. We don't expect the egg to cost a lot less. And I know I have a lot of neighbors and a lot of friends that say, oh, the eggs cost a lot at the grocery store right now. Can I just have some of yours? Well, an $8.99 bag of chicken feed that I used to feed my chickens prior to the price hike now costs me anywhere between $18.9 and $21.99, depending on the protein percentage that I feed my chickens. So my cost in feed has more than doubled, which puts the cost of what it takes for that chicken to make an egg more than double. And the prices of the eggs at the store have more than doubled. So something has happened in the supply chain that people who are actually having backyard chickens, we are still affected by that supply chain, and that translates into our egg production as well. So it's not going to cost you less money, but it will provide you with eggs that are absolutely delicious, and it will provide you with animals on your homestead that give you a lot of joy, and it really is the gateway to other type of backyard farming. So if you are interested in raising chickens, those are my 5 things that I think that you should probably know before you decide to raise chickens. I hope this was a helpful video to you, and thank you for watching.